80% of our business was coming from the people within it. You have one job as the founder of your business. It is an attention race, and the business with the most attention wins.
I also wanted to just clip a couple of your posts.
Oh God. If you're building a personal brand, just know that you're going to get the piss ripped out of you. Your greatest fear as someone who's starting something new is to have their friends and family be like, you suck at that. I'm already embarrassed doing this. Confidence doesn't come from Googling how to get confident. It comes from doing the thing you're not confident in doing, sucking at it long enough to be confident at it with that. But the second part of this, which is actually more of a psychological lever that people don't understand with content, is
I love that.
we use AI to do all the grunt work, but the storytelling, you can't replicate my story.
Let's talk about the TED Talk.
So I go up there, I do my intro, and then my mind just goes, squirrel. I could continue to let them stare at me, try desperately to remember what I was going to say, or just wing it.
Welcome to Estate Agent Showdown with me, Matt Giggs. This is an unfiltered conversation with Amelia Sordell. Thank you for joining. Your stalker.
Your stalker. Well, thanks for
I
having
am
me.
a stalker. That sounds a bit weird, but look, it's not weird. It's because your content stood out to me, and that's your specialist. You're a personal brand. Can I call you a queen?
I'd love that. I will take that crown happily.
Yeah, I called you it yesterday, so I thought I'd better just verify that today because, we just had a quick chat. I said, is there anything off limits? No. Right, brilliant. And that's your posting style. Nothing's off limits.
Yeah.
7 years.
7 years. And do you know what's interesting? It's actually been 6 years since I started my business, Clout, tomorrow. So it's quite poignant to be full circle. Thank you. We're still in business. That means we're doing something right.
You are in this economy, right?
Yeah, I mean, God, it's been rough, isn't it? For everyone, I think. But yeah.
Joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
We won't go into politics, though.
No, we can do that in the pub later on.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a deal. But look, so here's the reason why I asked Amelia on 4 million plus revenue, all around building a personal brand. In our industry, guys, you're watching, you're not staying consistent on building a personal brand. And I get it. And there's things that we're going to uncover today that are going to help you to maybe take that step. But what is the reason why you started doing it?
Posting content.
Yeah.
So I wish I could say I was like super smart and just saw that that's where marketing was going.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the world, right, influencer had started becoming a thing.
Yeah.
This is like, 7-8 years ago. Influencers kind of started becoming a thing. So it would make sense, therefore, that you would get people within a business to market it. But actually, the reality was, I thought, based on the data that I was seeing, I was a recruiter at the time, that our recruiters, probably much like estate agents, were bringing in the majority of the business.
Very mirrored industry.
We're bringing in the majority of the business. And so it seemed dumb to me as the B2B marketing manager to be investing so much money in ads and in traditional marketing efforts when 80% of our business was coming from the people within it. So I approached my then CEO and said, look, I think we should be getting the team to be posting content instead of investing all this time and energy creating content plans for the company. And I knew this worked because when I was working for the same company as a recruiter, that's how I made all my money. I didn't spend time smashing phones all day. I used to get pulled up, Matt, regularly by my MD being like, why haven't you spent enough time on the phone? Why have you only made 5 calls today? And I'm like, look at the fucking leaderboard, dude. Like, I'm like number 3. Like, you don't need to, you should be asking everyone else why they're spending all this time on the phone and not making any money.
Were you quite easy to manage, Amelia?
No, I was a nightmare. I'm unemployable. I've just been very, very lucky that I've worked for managers that tend to just let me get on with whatever. They're like, I'm like that, like, that like anomaly that everyone's just like, don't, just leave her.
Yeah.
She'll just don't talk to her. She'll be fine. But yeah, I worked out pretty quickly as a recruiter that phone and cold calling didn't really get anywhere. And if it did get somewhere, it was like 1 in 100. Yeah. So to me, that was a waste of my time. And then you've got a 1 in 5 chance of even placing it. So
it's just soul destroying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Who wants to do that?
So I started messaging. It was a great crash course in sales. So if you want to be in sales or you want to be in business, go and be a recruiter for a year because or do door-to-door knocking. Do you know what I mean? Like it will teach you some great lessons. But I started DMing these CEOs being like, because I couldn't get hold of them on the phone, and they replied. So I was like, this is interesting. So I then started posting it
on LinkedIn. Yeah.
I then started posting the things that I was DMing them, which would be things like, this company's been acquired, which usually means ABC. Did you know this kind of stuff? Like stuff that now I look back at, I'm like, who the fuck did I read that? It was so bad. But I was the only one treating LinkedIn like a networking tool and not like a job board.
Yeah.
So in the sea of your feed, which would have been like, we're hiring, I was like, did you know such and such had been acquired? And that means they're probably going to come and poach people from this company, and this company. And if you're the CEO of these companies, you should probably be worried. Like, that's the kind of thing that I was sharing. And I got responses to that. I got DMs from people like the CEO of YouGov. Do you know what I mean? So this is multiple billion-dollar organizations that are chatting to this 25-year-old recruiter who's got 6 months experience about why they should be working with us. And I was selling them retainers. Like, retained work doesn't exist in recruitment. And yet here I was 6 months in to a job I'd never done before, making no calls, spending no time on the phone and selling retainers to billion-dollar businesses at 30% terms, by the way. So unheard of. And it's because I was doing it differently. So I knew that approach worked.
Yeah.
And I went to my CEO and said, can we do this? And he was like, no, it's never going to work. Also, what if they leave? What if they build, these social media followings? Because no one called it personal branding back then. It was, social media.
Did you coin that term?
No, absolutely not. I think Gary V has been
Gary V?
Probably. I mean, someone I probably like. Oh no, actually, it wasn't. It was. There was an article that came out in Fast magazine. And it was called A Brand Called You.
Right.
It was coined in about 1997, I think. I forget the writer of the article, but that was the first time it was coined. So if you want to know about the history of personal branding, you can go and read that article. But it speaks about how CEOs should be the head marketer of their business. And if you're employed, whether it's your business or not, it's your job to fucking promote the business. Of course they don't. Should be a shareholder responsibility, but no one fucking does, right? Anyway, fast forward, I then do it anyway because I'm very much a ask for forgiveness than permission girl, as I'm sure you've probably worked out in
I may have just
7 minutes we've been talking.
Well, I may have figured that out.
And very quickly I went from sort of 1,500 followers or so to about 8,000, and then from 8,000 to about 15,000, then 15,000 to 24,000. And I was at one point the single biggest driver of traffic to our company website, and we had employees of 150 people. So that's pretty impressive for one person.
Bloody brilliant.
And of course, during this 10-month experiment of me trying to prove that my experiment was a good idea, I got headhunted. And it hilariously proved my CEO right, that if people post content, they get poached. But I suppose my back kind of channel to that was he was a really shit CEO and underpaid me, undervalued me, didn't really listen to any of my suggestions. And therefore I went to a company that did.
Yeah.
And they paid me like double my salary. My shout out Joe Curtis, who employed me, he probably doesn't know that. He told me, he was like, what are your salary expectations? I was like 70 grand. And I would think I was earning like 30 or something before. And he was like, oh, okay, so what are you earning now? I was like, about the same.
I love that.
I know.
Just
sorry,
do
Joe.
Absolutely.
Why not?
I'm sure he got his money's worth.
He did for sure. And we're still good friends now. So I'm very grateful for him. But got headhunted and then basically went and did the same thing for, instead of one recruitment company, went and did it for 11 recruitment companies. And I did that for about a year and loved it. It was a brilliant role for me. And I'm a huge advocate for anyone listening to this who, I know many are probably entrepreneurs, but anyone who's employed and wants to be an entrepreneur, wants to start a business, go and work for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people skip that bit. They think that it's so glamorized to start your own business. First of all, it's fucking hard. Second of all, you're broke most of the time until you hit big. And sometimes that can take years to hit. And working for Joe at 11 Investments gave me the leg up that I needed, because he would have me in meetings talking about P&Ls and like how to charge properly. So if I was going to be charged out to a business outside of the investment firm, like how they would cost that and like why it was cost that way. And it was just an absolute real-time MBA in how to run a service-based business. And there is no way in hell Clout would have scaled as quickly as it did if I'd not worked there. So yeah.
Valuable.
That's the long story short.
Long story short. Well, listen, I've got loads of questions, but I also wanted to just clip a couple of your posts.
Oh, God.
So I think this one's this morning. Remember, the people laughing at you for trying to build a personal brand are the same people celebrating when their boss lets them leave 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
Now, that really, again, you seem to, well, you do know what to say. So the point is, I get the whole sentiment behind it, but can you tell my listeners what you're saying there?
So there's two things. There's the face of it, which is, remember, people making fun of your personal brand are the same people who are celebrating when their boss lets them leave 10 minutes early. So there's a front of that, which is, number one, if you're building a personal brand, just know that
you're going to get the piss ripped.
You're going to get the piss ripped out of you, and people will relate to that because we do, right? That's what happens.
Yep.
But secondly, like, it's okay because they're losers. Like, that's kind of what I'm saying with that. But the second part of this, which is actually more of a psychological lever that a lot of people don't understand with content, period, is if you can find a very specific pain point that the people that you're trying to attract relate to and can see themselves in, you will get engagement. So a lot of my content is specifically around failure, around people feeling embarrassed, around being mocked, around people saying it's not going to work, around not feeling good enough, like all of the emotional things that would stop or stunt someone from being successful in any capacity of their life, not just in personal branding. In fact, most of my content isn't about personal branding. It's about business.
It's a life lesson as well.
Yeah, it's just stuff that's stories, and we can dig into storytelling because I wouldn't even say I was a personal branding strategist. I would say I was a storyteller.
Well, Ollie and I are all about bringing stories to life now.
Yeah, because it's the only thing that separates you. So the kind of mechanics of creating content is less about creating interesting content and more about understanding what is the emotional lever that you want to pull in someone that's going to get them to go me too. And if you can get someone to say me too, then that is a viral piece of content. And not the virality is the goal here. I actually interestingly did a bit of an experiment of the last 6 weeks ago to see how viral I could go on LinkedIn and whether or not that would make a difference to my leads. Because I was like, okay, makes sense. More in the top, more at the bottom, right? And actually I went really broad with it, hammered all of the emotional levers that generally people would find, triggering. So education, failure, breakups, like every single thing.
Was this the TEDx thing? No,
I mean, just loads.
Just loads.
It's just
continual...
loads and loads and loads of different content.
You've done it for how many weeks?
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Because I wanted a good data set of, if you can go really viral, does it make you more money? My leads dropped by 72%. And that is because I was no longer talking about the specifics of what the people that I'm actually trying to attract, which is my customer, give a shit about. But the second thing is I was no longer talking even at all about personal branding. So no one knew what it was that I did. So there was no way of them to come and find out more about how to work with me.
Really
so
interesting.
I've now gone back to my previous strategy, which is the strategy I've been using for the last 6 years. And we were 191 leads in for my personal brand in the last 60 days. And 70 odd of those are qualified and have turned into conversations with my sales team. So if I can do that, having not gone really that viral, and
it's a clear message.
One person, by the way, I don't have a team of people posting content. It's just me.
Because LinkedIn is full of generalistic stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's very boring. And it's also going to be copied. So if you look at the Stephen Bartlett playbook, the Stephen Bartlett playbook is following the same psychology that I've just discussed, but it's really, really generic. But only Stephen can do that because Stephen is already famous. And the problem is people copy that playbook and then wonder why it doesn't work for them. Yeah. Same with Alex Hormozi. Alex Hormozi is so famous now. He doesn't need to give you the stories because you know them. Yeah. All you need is the emotional
credibility is there.
Exactly. You can go and find out more about his story. But if you're just getting started, your story is the content.
Take me into the moment, because I've had this similar experience. Your content spoke to me.
Okay. You were like, it's me.
It's me.
Yeah.
Piss taking friends.
Oh yeah, that story. Yeah,
I only found out maybe 7 or 8 years ago that when I was doing my videos and things like that, because I was I was on a bit of a journey as well, and you kind of putting stuff out there that you believe in, that you're passionate about. At the same time, you've got what you consider to be your friends talking about it without you being in earshot.
Yeah, this was a WhatsApp group that 3 friends of mine set up. I don't know whether it was set up specifically to take the piss out of what I was doing or whether it was already set up and then it became predominantly that. But these were 3 friends that I was quite close with, looked after their kids and, we'd hung out, a lot. And I considered them close friends. And basically what would happen is when I would post something on LinkedIn, this was like early days of me posting. So this is like 2020 maybe is when I first started building my business. They would screenshot it and they would laugh at it in the WhatsApp group, which is in hindsight, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. I couldn't care less. But obviously at the time it was like, wow, I'm already embarrassed doing this. And your greatest fear as someone who's starting something new and knowing that they're probably sucking at it is to have their friends and family be like, you suck at that. It's like the worst thing that could possibly have happened. And it felt really hurtful and really embarrassing. I was humiliated that my friends were taking the piss out of me. But, fast forward, we're now 6 years later, those people are obviously not my friends anymore. And interestingly, one of them actually DM'd me earlier in the year being like, hi, babe. Oh my God, I can see from social media, you're doing so well, smashing it. Congrats. I can see that you do a lot of personal branding stuff. They're like, is there any help? Wonder you can come and help me build mine. And I was just like,
Did you do that?
Of course not. I just ignored it.
No.
I was like, it's a fan.
But you know, the thing
Oh, well.
that moment that you were in 7 years ago when this happened, it's one of the reasons why people just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's what got you to the point where you just don't give a fuck.
Do you know what's so funny? Everyone who I meet who says I don't give a fuck, genuinely, I think does give a fuck. Like, I think if you have to tell people you don't care, you deeply do.
There's something in you.
And that's why you're telling people.
Okay.
I think I deeply, Matt, care about what people think about my character. Like, I would be mortified if you'd met me, you got to know me, and then you were like, do you know what? Like, she's great online, but actually I'm not really sure about her impact. Like, that would be more devastating to me.
Yeah.
What people think about when I'm posting online, I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, do you know what I mean? I got in 191 leads like the last 60 days, babe. Like, I'm good. Good for you. No worries.
But you do make me laugh, by the way.
You got a thick skin. You have to develop a thick skin, and it's not just with posting
though, when
content.
you've got that like in you, that kind of the difference between it being online and in person, because I think that distinction's lost on a lot of people.
It is, and
Is it over time?
It is over time, and I think, look, it's the same advice I give to people about confidence. I get so many people saying to me, "How are you so confident?" Because I can, like, we've not met in person before, and I'm like, we're friends, like,
yeah.
And I'm like that with everyone. I don't feel lacking in my skin to feel that I can just be myself with everyone I meet, right? Yeah. But that wasn't always that way. That has come from years and years and years of feeling like an imposter, of feeling like a failure, feeling not good enough, feeling stupid. Like, we can go all the way back to my childhood on that. Not feeling enough, and then basically building up enough of a resilience to be like, I like me.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if you, not in an offensive way, but I don't mind whether you like me because I like me.
Yeah.
So I will be myself, and then hopefully people will like me. And if they don't, I'm also fine with that. And I think when you can get to that point, which only comes when you've been through a truckload of shit that makes you question everything, do you feel confident?
About success yesterday I filmed 3 yesterday with some really great guys, and we're talking about success and the different measurements around it. But I think one of them is definitely what you've just talked about, to be able to feel like that way about yourself, because most people don't.
You've got to do a lot of work to get to that point, though. And when I say work, I feel like that's such a subjective thing to say. People are like, oh, you've got to do the work. I'm like, you have to do the work on getting to know who you actually are, because I think when you are in a relationship, or when you are in a group of friends, or when you have a business, you can tie your entire identity to those things. Or if you're a parent, you can tie your identity to these things. And actually, your identity isn't those things. It's part of your identity. And I think getting to know who you are outside of all of the other variables in your life is really important.
On that, not to cut across you, but I think there's a really important point you've made. How did you do that?
Therapy.
Same.
And spending a lot of time alone. Because I used to be terrified of spending time alone. Like, I'd always need to be doing something. I was that person that had a chocker diary from Monday to Sunday.
Filling it up
with as much stuff as possible. Because
just avoiding being on your own.
Basically. And when you start forcing yourself to spend time alone, and even doing things like going to the gym without headphones, or going for a walk without headphones, like, God forbid we do that in 2026, and just enjoying life, right? Just living life. You start to get to know things that you like. You start to get to know the things that you don't like. You start to get to know what you will and won't accept for yourself and from others. You start to think about, actually, is that really a dream that I want? Or have I just conditioned myself to think that because that's what everyone else around me wants, you know? Like, I made the joke earlier, I was saying I'd rather be crying in the Maldives than in Benidorm, which I do believe, and we can talk about that joke in a minute. But on the other hand, money to me isn't actually very motivating.
No.
It used to be. It used to be my entire identity. It was like, I've made all this money, and look, I'm taking my kids to the Maldives, and I'm driving my brand new car.
Your salary, it was about that benchmark.
Yeah, I wanted as much money as humanly possible because I believed if I could then I'm going to be happy. When I just buy that brand new Range Rover, I'll be happy. When I just buy that house outright, I'll be happy. When I can just. And when you stop doing that, and you sit in your reality, you've got to either like your reality or hate it enough to force it to change, right? And actually, I quite like my reality, and that I think helps you like yourself. So
I think that's brilliant advice, and I'm sorry if I cut you from going
No,
into
it's
the
fine.
next piece, but it's something that I've gone through as well. You know, never being alone to actually loving being alone. I went to Australia for 3 weeks 3 years
my
ago
hometown,
on
home
my own.
country.
Did you? Where did
No,
you?
I'm from there. I'm from Melbourne.
Sorry, that's Melbourne.
Yeah,
I went to
grew up
Melbourne.
in Sydney, but born in Melbourne.
Went to Melbourne. Love Melbourne. It's
Yeah, it's the
very
best.
multicultural. It's just a really cool place.
Do you know what's funny? Everyone says that about Melbourne. So I like.
Is there different parts?
Yeah.
To it,
Well,
obviously?
no, Melbourne is the best. But obviously, I grew up in Sydney, and it's funny because if you ask people from Sydney, they'll be like, "Oh, Sydney's the best." If you ask people from Melbourne, they're like, "Oh, Melbourne's the best." Sydney is very what's the right word? Superficial. Like people are it's very like it's about what you wear, it's about what you do, it's about what you drive.
It's
It's
on the
like
outside stuff.
I think so. And it takes a bit to get to know people. Like everyone kind of fronts a little bit in Sydney. Whereas Melbourne, there's like hippies and there's like it's just a lot more chill.
Yeah.
But in a great way. And also I like Melbourne because it's got so many different parts of it.
Yeah.
Like you've got CBD, you've got Fitzgerald Street, you've got St Kilda, you've got like, you know, the burbs, you've got Mornington Peninsula. Everywhere is very different.
Yeah.
And within a driving radius. Whereas in Sydney, most of Sydney is kind of the same.
Yes.
Which anyone listening to this is sort of fucking
Well,
hate me for saying that.
Well, no, do you know what? I went to Australia to do Tony Robbins' event.
Amazing. I love Tony Robbins.
I drink that 9 years ago. Date with Destiny.
Yeah, I drink that Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I've done that. Then I went 3 years ago to do the conference for real estate agents called ARIC. So that was in the Gold Coast. But I thought while I'm out there, I'm going to go to Cairns, Barrier Reef, Melbourne, Sydney.
Amazing.
I fucking loved it. But the point I'm making is that I was on my own. Take me back 20 years, not a chance. Not in 10, like 10 years plus, didn't want to be on my own. I love to fill my diary up, fill my time up. So I was getting further away from knowing who I really am. And I think what you just talked about there is a really interesting point for anyone watching this, listening to this. It's very easy to not know who you are in today's world. Crazy as that sounds, isn't it?
But you know what? It going to sound counterproductive. One of the reasons why I think we don't actually know who we are is because we spend so much time introspectively thinking about who we are. We don't actually live them.
Live it. Yeah.
It's like, you know, I'm a big believer in therapy. I think it's a great thing, but I don't believe it's something that everyone should do all the time.
No.
You shouldn't be going and speaking to someone about your feelings every week for the rest of your life because it means you've not actually got the tools to deal with life. So if you think about that more broadly, stop looking for all the answers online. Stop asking ChatGPT about your symptoms and just like listen to your body. Like just actually in tune yourself with
where you're feeling it.
Yeah. Are you hungry or are you not?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like even things like that.
Because I walk into the kitchen and I don't have a clue while I'm walking in there half the time. Open the fridge out of habit.
They will though.
Yeah.
They'll eat at 9 a.m. They'll eat at 1 p.m. They'll eat at 6 p.m. because that's when they've just like, but are you even hungry?
Yeah.
I now eat when I'm hungry, which sometimes isn't until like 4 p.m.
Really?
I've lost loads of weight doing that. And it's not been like an intentional, thank you. It's not been an intentional thing, but I'm now so in tune with like everything.
Just on that, like going into that in tune, and has that helped you to go on this journey? Because I've looked at some of your stuff recently where you've really started to work on the fitness element, strength or whatever. Yeah. And I'm a great believer in strength training at my age because I'm old. That it's actually really good for you rather than the cardio stuff. Yeah. And how that actually really does help you, but also when you're managing life and yourself and your emotions, it's a lot, isn't it? That you need to be able to bring your energy up, not lower it down. I think that really helped you?
It's the only thing that I now won't compromise on.
Okay.
Aside from like family time, but it's the only thing I won't compromise on is going to the gym. I do strength training and Pilates, pretty much one of each.
I've seen some funny videos about the Pilates. I've got a set. I'm going to send you a video about this comedy sketch about Pilates classes because I've done Pilates.
I do floor Pilates, not reformer.
Okay.
I love reformer. Yeah, reformer's great. And I love reformer. And if I can get to a class, I will. Like I used to go 4 or 5 times a week to reformer, but it's bloody expensive. Like I'm not spending 150 quid a week to sit on like a torture device and get someone to like make my legs go like that. Like it's not worth it, right? So I'll do floor Pilates.
Yeah.
There's an app that I could use, which is amazing, and it runs you through different programs. So I'm doing a program at the minute which is strength and floor Pilates, and it's I've never felt more fit, and also more importantly enjoying it. I absolutely
it's not like you're going, oh fuck's sake,
no,
go to the gym.
I love going to the gym. Whereas before, when I was, doing weights and like cardio, I was like, oh fuck's sake, it's a chore. Whereas now I'm like, I can't wait to go. Like, it's exciting to go. I look forward to it.
It feels like you've shifted, like you're thinking like.
You're the second person to say that to me in the last week.
So is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
And you doing it with enjoyment means you've tuned in.
Yeah.
And that's what I see.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know you. I know you from social media,
online besties,
and it really does feel like you've are you quite spiritual in that respect?
Very.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just tapping into that, and it's quite funny because I'm very similar in some of my own feelings and thoughts, and I think a lot of people, it feels to me like we're in a bit of it's like a zombie apocalypse at the minute. Like everyone's heavy and weighed down with the stuff they can't control. And actually, one of the things that we're talking about right now for you listening is going out for a walk is probably one of the single best things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just go and do it for free.
Mm-hmm. At any time.
At any time.
Maybe not in London after dark, but outside of London at any time.
Or you can go and ruin your walk and play golf. I'm going to share something else with you because.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were doing this. Oh bloody hell! What else
Amelia,
have I said?
We could sit here for 4 hours and I still wouldn't get through what I was supposed to ask you anyway. But hi, my name's Amelia. If we haven't met yet, I've spent the last 6 years building a personal brand that's made my business over 4 million in revenue. I want to create content. My name's not Amelia, by the way. Create content that inspires other founders to do it for themselves. Follow along the journey. So follow Amelia, by the way. But why is that your why?
Because I spent the last couple of years building a business that made other business owners more successful.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's how you make money.
Yeah.
You make rich people richer. And I've done a really good job of it. But now I want to do something that's a bit more aligned to me. Like, I've even descaled the business. So the business was a team of 17. We're now a team of 4. 3 if you don't include freelancers and stuff that we use. And now it's more about what I want to do. And actually what I'm really good at is strategy. I'm fucking great at storytelling. And I'm really good at being able to extract stories from people, which you are also. And that's a gift that a lot of people don't have.
Thank you.
And those are things
Ollie, did you hear that? Give us a thumbs up.
There's those things I'm very, very good at. And those are things that can't scale really beyond me.
Yeah.
Unless I build a system in order to scale it, which is now what I'm trying to do. Okay. I want to help as many people as possible do this because it changed my life. And oftentimes the people that can afford personal branding don't actually need their life to be changed. It's the ones that can't afford how to do it.
Yeah, nice.
So
I love that. And do you know, that really makes complete sense for where you are right now in your journey. And I've descaled my business as well. So
is it not the most free? You know what? The day after I decided to descale, I felt more relieved than I've ever felt in my life.
Is it because you just don't enjoy that bit?
Do you know what? I love what I do. I really genuinely love what I do. I love working with founders like you, helping them build their strategies, seeing that strategy through to execution and watching it fly, brings me lots and lots of joy. But I didn't start a business to not do that. I didn't start a business to manage people. I didn't start a business to fire people and hire people. I
sit down and do one-to-ones.
Yeah, but the problem is when you grow a business, you stop doing the thing that you started the business to do. And you start being a manager.
It's scaling that, isn't it?
It's so fucking boring. Yeah. I don't care about your cat. I care about you. And I want you to be great and you to do good. But I don't want to have therapy sessions with my employees every Monday morning because they've it's just not for me.
No.
And some people are really good at it and I'm not. And I'm the kind of manager that's we need to get from A to Z.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
And I need you to be we'll figure it out. And I'll be great. Because
we're
all on this journey of figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
I can't cope with people who are so how are we getting there?
Yeah.
I'm that's not why I hired you. I hired you because we all need to work out how to get there. If I knew how to get there, you wouldn't be here. I would have already done it.
Do you know, that's such a good point.
And that's why I descale, because actually it's I really believe that burnout doesn't come from working hard. I really believe it comes from working hard at something that you don't want to do. And I didn't want to do that. So I stopped doing it. And that's why I descaled.
A lot of people think
and I feel great.
Well, you can see it. And it's obviously changed so many different things around you, because once you change that thing, it helps you change other things.
And do you know what's interesting about this? I haven't earned this year anywhere near what I've been earning. Like, I'm talking like a quarter of what I've been earning over the last couple of years, which is scary when you've got like bills and stuff to pay. But I've never been happier. And now I'm like, cool, well, I've got this bit right. So now we just need to scale that bit.
I think so.
And then we're good.
Well, you're scaling something with passion, connected with it. It's doing what you love doing more of the time.
And when you love doing it, you do a better job.
It radiates, it attracts, it has all of those things. But I think people in business do get to a point where they think they're kind of almost following like the rule book.
Yeah.
It's like,
but also there's a lot of advice. There's a lot of advice as well, which I understand. And I also do agree with, to be slightly going against what I've just said. You know, there's a lot of advice that says when it gets boring, most people give up. And that's why, you know, they fail, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, I agree with that. But at the same time, there's a difference, I think, between being bored and being completely misaligned. Like, I used to hate waking up because I knew I had to go to work. And that was a prison that I had built myself. Like, waking up and being like, oh, I have to go to work today. And it's not even a job I can quit because I fucking run the place. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've got 17 people that I need to show up and be like, come on, guys, let's go for the vision that we're all aiming for. And I don't even believe in it.
Energy drops.
Oh my God, it's a sap. And then you become irritable, and that transcends over different parts of your, you know, yourself. And I didn't even recognize like some of my friends were like, we didn't even know you during that time because you were just a completely different person. Like, I met a good friend of mine, James Fairclough, the other day for lunch. He's the ex-CEO of the AA. Amazing guy. Like, I DM'd him on LinkedIn a few years ago and I was like, your LinkedIn's shit. Do you need some help? And he was like, no, but let's chat. And we've ended up staying friends, and he's been a great mentor and a great guide and a great friend to me.
That's cool.
And he said to me the other day when he first met me, which was peak of this time we're talking about, when he first met me, he felt like I had like a mask, and it was like I was being the person that I thought I was meant to be, not the person that I actually was. And I think that's spot on. I think it's spot on. And whereas now I am who I am. Whereas before I was trying to be someone I wasn't because I thought that's what the job required of me.
Well, I feel it, and I don't know you that well, but I definitely feel it. And I think it's really not, I think actually, I don't know about you, when you see musicians or artists or people that are I don't know, whoever, because we're creators as well, creatives, if you like, in another sense of the word. You know when someone's in their flow, don't you? Everything's just aligned.
I call it download. Like when things are just down, like as we mentioned earlier, I'm very spiritual, and I believe you get downloads from whatever higher version of yourself is up there.
Oh, massively.
And it's when you're happy and you're in flow state, download state, whatever you want to call it, good things come. Like, it's the momentum that you build through being in that position that means, like, I don't even know what's going to happen next, but I'm like, I'm ready. Let's see what happens, you know?
When do you know what? You could know what's going to happen next and not look forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Which was me a couple of years ago. I was like, what happens next? I go to 5 million in revenue a year. And then what's that? Another 20 more people. I have to add 20 more problems. No, I'm good.
I think you've hit the nail on the head with that. I think there's some gold there. And look, I don't normally read loads of questions for anyone that's watched my podcast, because there was just a few things from watching your journey that I wanted to just talk about. But one of them was just on LinkedIn. You've got a huge following on LinkedIn. Well, I think it's huge. Mine's pretty insignificant compared, but we don't do comparison, do we now?
No.
Right. Amelia, I saw a post. Daniel Priestley, I quite like Daniel. I think his stuff's really good. Met him once. Seems like a decent guy. But he was talking recently about that on LinkedIn, AI now understands the quality and the relevance of content, not just its popularity. Are we moving from the era of building audiences to building authority? What do you think he means by that, and do you agree?
So basically, AI, like the algorithm on LinkedIn can now tell, and it was possible before the LinkedIn algorithm. There's a tool called Favicon, which has this thing called the authenticity score, where you can tell whether or not someone uses AI to create their own content. And depending on how good, you know, of a writer you are versus how shit you are at using AI, it would say your score is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I was scoring high 90s. And I think that's very probably obvious by the fact that I have at least 3 spelling mistakes in every single post that goes out.
But do you just leave them because you're like, that's me?
Oh no, sometimes I look back at them, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't notice that M was missing. Let me just go back and edit it. But that it is me. Like I'm not, the thing is, I do use AI for lots of stuff. I use AI to take stories. Like, for example, when we get the recording of this, that will go into my Claude agent that will pull out specific stories that I spoke about that would be great posts. Brilliant. I've said it, so it's already there. Basically, it just needs tidying up and a picture attaching to it. That we use that all the time. It's brilliant. I also use it to write my newsletters. So things I've said, again, we've turned it into a newsletter where we've created a very specific storytelling format that works for my newsletters, and we know they work because we have data to prove that it leads to kind of calls being booked with our sales team. So we use AI to do all the grunt work of the stuff that, to be honest, I don't have time nor the intelligence to do. But the storytelling, no, like absolutely not, because that's the only thing. How is ChatGPT meant to know that in 2015 I started working as a recruiter because my previous business failed? It doesn't know that. No. But it does know 5 tips to make your marketing better. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't replicate my story. No. But anyone can go and find out how to make their personal brand better. Or you could Google right now how to build a personal brand, and there'll be millions of articles that will come up. Yeah. All of the advice will be the same. Yeah. All of it. And it's optimized for SEO and it's optimized for search engine, whether it's LLMs or Google, right? But if you go on LinkedIn and you saw a post from me saying, I used to not even be able to order food in a restaurant because I was so embarrassed to speak to strangers, and I just came off my first TED talk, like you'd be like, oh, okay, I'll listen to her because she's credible. And then I've talked you through my journey about how I got from there to here and built my personal brand doing it. You're probably much more likely to want to pay attention to what I'm saying because I've done it and also remember who said that than the article that you found on ChatGPT.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, because I think everything seems awash with AI, and we have to be really careful that this is the opportunity now to be even more.
But that's the opportunity. That's it. Yeah. Everyone says how to use AI, and I say the opportunity in using AI with your personal brand is to not. Yeah. Like there's a reason why. Shit. Yeah, use it. Get it to do your scheduling and your organizing and your like whatever. Like get it to go through your meeting notes and extract the stories that you spoke about in the meeting or in the podcast or in the keynote, whatever it is. Get it to do that, but don't get it to be you, because you think that you can build a personal brand using AI. So does everyone else. And everyone else can afford the £20 a month for ChatGPT. So that means that everyone's content looks the same. And do you know what's so funny? I've stopped even replying to people's comments on LinkedIn now because they're all AI. Yeah. That AI comment generator that LinkedIn brought in was the worst feature they've ever added.
Didn't even know they had one.
Yeah, they go reply like, do you want us to suggest something?
Oh right, okay,
and it basically summarizes the post and agrees with it.
I'm a bit lazy, Amelia.
But it doesn't add anything. But that's fine. Do whatever you want. But at least it's yours. Yeah. It's a human response.
I want to talk to you about something.
Oh God, what are you going to tell me?
A talk.
Oh yeah, all that old thing.
Well, you built up, right? It's a massive.
It was on my vision board for 7 years.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Was rejected multiple times.
Tell us about it. Finally gave up. Happened.
Finally gave up last year. I was like, fuck it. It's so funny. Is it even on my vision board anymore? No, I took it off. I took it off my vision board. It's on the back of my phone.
What's your next one then?
We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay, go on. Let's talk about the TED Talk.
So I've been on my vision board for 7 years. Applied multiple times, been rejected. Fine, it's not going to be on the cards for me. Give up, boring. Take it off. It's taking up too much space on my vision board. I need more things there. And got a message about 6 months ago from my manager saying, Ted wants you to come and do a talk. And I was like, fuck off. Brilliant. Let's do it. So excited. What are you going to do it on? I don't know, personal branding, obviously. What else? Anyway, I for context, I do a lot of speaking. Like I've done 11 speaking gigs in the last 6 weeks.
I know. I've seen you.
I'm tired. I need a holiday. But I do a lot of speaking, and I'm pretty good at it. Like that's one of my few skills is I'm great at standing on stage and being the center of attention. Can nail that. For whatever reason, and I never prepare ever. I'm like notorious for sending my slides the day before and pissing all the organizers off of every conference I've ever done, because they said, can you send it 2 weeks before? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then it always goes out the night before. And my EA, Amy's amazing. Shout out Amy. She always says them, just FYI, if she says she's going to send it to you, you're going to get it 24 hours before. So you're just going to have to deal with it.
Manage expectations.
Because that's what's going to happen.
Very important in a good
That's what's going to happen. It's just how I operate. And I think most entrepreneurs are the same. Like anyone who's listening to this who's done any speaking, he's probably like, yep, I do that as well.
Yeah.
Doing the pitch deck 20 minutes before you're due to be on to pitch, right? That's kind of the vibe. Anyway, but for whatever reason with TED, I'd built this thing up so much in my head. I was like, I need to rehearse. I need to know line by line what I'm going to say, because I've been waiting for this moment for 7 years. So I need to nail it. So instead of doing my tried and true method of rock up and just
go for it
full send and everyone loving it, I decided that I had to remember this script that I'd written, which was new material, never fucking spoken about it before. And of course, which is the maddest thing is about this story is this is advice I give people all the time. I go, don't memorize stuff. Just memorize your intro and then let the rest of it just go, because
that's the hardest bit.
Because that's the hardest bit.
Yeah.
So I go up there, I do my intro, I pick and then my mind just goes, squirrel. I was like, fuck, I'm on a stage, the biggest stage that anyone could want to be on.
What was going on in your
mind?
mind?
And I fucking forgot what I was going to say. And there's a big red timer in front of you on TED. You only get 16 minutes. And once the 6 minutes up, they basically pull you off, right?
Yeah.
I could see it going, and I was like, fuck. And I'm looking at this blank sea of faces who are staring at me, just waiting for me to say the next thing. And I was like, fuck. So I had two options in that moment. I could continue to let them stare at me and try desperately to remember what my...
It's funny now though, isn't it?
Yeah. It wasn't fucking funny then. I can tell you that. I wanted to cry.
Oh no.
It was like the biggest goosebumps.
This is everyone's worst
It's making
nightmare.
my hands clammy even saying it. Just stare at them and like try desperately to remember what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Or just wing it. And I chose the latter, obviously, because it had already been like a second and a half, which feels like a million years when you're standing up there, everyone's staring at you. And I just wing it. And you know what? It went fine. And I came off stage and my fiance is amazing. He was like, you smashed it. I was like, I fucked the whole thing up. I forgot what I was going to say. He was like, no one knew. It's fine. And then, bless him, we went for dinner afterwards after I was like 3 marks deep. So I was like, I need to self-medicate from the stress of today. He was like, it wasn't your best, but it was better than most. He was like, it's still better than like everyone else who would have done that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't your best. And he was like, but that's okay, because you can go and do it again.
Absolutely.
And I then spoke to the organisers and said, look, it wasn't the experience that I wanted it to be. Can I come back and just tell my story? And they were like, we would love that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to have
Where was it?
The TED experience, Belfast. I'm going to have the TED experience that I wanted. But I guess the lesson to that is you build everything up, like whether it be starting a business, asking someone out, quitting a job, whatever it is, we build up these moments so much in our heads.
Yeah, we do.
That when they don't go how we envision them to go, we feel like our entire world has collapsed.
Yeah.
And actually, it's rarely the moments that we plan that go the way that we planned, right? And I think just accepting that you've got to roll with the punches and shit never goes to plan, and being the kind of person who's capable of dealing with it when it doesn't is actually where you get that confidence and that growth from.
You're going to just get better off the back of it, right?
For sure. I now know I should never prepare.
Right.
Which is hilarious, because that's always the advice people always prepare. I'm like, no, I suck when I prepare. I know my shit. I don't need to prepare anything. I live and breathe it every day.
I think you're right though about that, like the opening part, because that just, you set a scene and then
you do.
And then you know where you're going.
Yeah. So I have the same opening every time I do a keynote. Every single time I say, hi, my name's Amelia Sordell. I'm the founder of Clout. In 2020, I quit my safe job in the middle of the global pandemic to start a business when no one else was starting businesses, and blah, 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 blah. And now I'm here. And then I kind of go into my story about personal branding. But knowing what you're saying and memorizing that bit. And that was actually a friend of mine, Harry Hugo, that gave me that advice. So he said, Harry was the co-founder of the Go agency that exited for WPP for 230 million.
Nice.
7 years in. So they did a shout out, Harry.
Well done.
Dinner on you.
Yeah.
He did a very good job, and now he runs Farnham FC and he's doing a great job over there. But he said to me, I said, what advice have you got? This is years ago before I started doing keynotes, when I was like shitting the bed every time I thought about like doing this, even would like send me anything. He was like, just know what you're going to say for the first 30 seconds. He was like, after that, whatever.
Yeah,
you'll have, but it's not even that. You sink into it by that point, because it's the first couple of minutes that actually is terrifying.
Yeah, it is. I think even like meeting you today, I was like, well, what do I start with? But then we had a hug out there, we came in and it just felt like we were naturally just going to get on with it.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think that's really good advice, because I think a lot of people overthink everything.
But even introductions,
over-prepare.
like to when you meet people, how do you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
If you introduce yourself in the same way every single time, it makes it so much easier to introduce yourself. Like I have this thing. So when I go to networking events, which is a huge part of building your personal brand, I actually think even more important than building online, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Tell us a bit more about that then.
I walk up. I was at an event actually. When was it? A week ago, 2 weeks ago at Richard Harpen's house.
Yeah.
He's just launched a book. He had a small book launch, which is I think he's doing quite a few of at his house. But
I
it was great.
messaged him.
Did you to come on here? Yeah, I'll put you in touch with his head of marketing. This is another thing, part of your personal brand. Be a connector of people.
Yeah.
If you think people can do business together, be the person that facilitated it, because they'll remember. But also they pay it forward. So was at his house. Walked upstairs to his insane house. Obviously, the guy's a billionaire. Like lives slap bang in the middle of central London, the most insane townhouse you've ever seen. Walked upstairs, and surrounded by some familiar faces, Tuka Solomon being one of them, and some unfamiliar faces. And I thought, fuck, I'm out my depth here. What am I going to do? So what I normally do in those situations is I just walk up to the closest person and I go, wow, you look interesting. What do you do?
Oh, I love that.
And that's like instantly they go, oh, like you're paying them a compliment because you're saying they look interesting. And then that gives them the push to be like, my name is Matt. I do this. I run this. What do you do? And then I'm, oh, my name's Amelia. I do blah, blah, blah. And then you can kind of find some common ground and have a conversation. But leading with that makes it so much easier to make friends. And as a result, I've made loads of really good connections on that night, one of which hopefully I'm going to end up working with. And she's like, I can't talk about it now because we haven't agreed anything, but
could be exciting.
Could be exciting.
Yeah.
And I really believe that networking, it's such a horrible word, but making friends in those situations is one of the most powerful things you can do for your reputation, which is essentially what your personal brand is.
100%. Yeah, and going back to what you said a lot earlier in this conversation, did you say something along the lines of about not being confident?
Yeah. I think if you ask my family and friends, they'd always say I've always been very confident and outgoing, but only to them.
Yeah.
Never outside of the home. Like picking up the house, remember house phone? Ring ring?
Yeah.
Picking one of those up as a kid, I was like, oh, God, no.
You went like that. I have to go like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it, for a lot of people watching, listening, I always find that what I try and do is get because when you've got a guest and you've achieved things, which you have clearly, and you are confident sitting here today, there's a magnetic kind of personality that you've got. And, it's very easy for people to think, I want to be like that. But actually knowing that you weren't always like that, for me, is the bridge that I've got to build. So what was it that got you through that period into just doing it? Because the just doing it bit comes through hosting, being consistent. I talked to Benji earlier, my previous guest, who you now know because you've done work with.
I have.
Quick shout out to Daniel, because I know Daniel Daggers, DDRE Global. Amelia's done a masterclass there. And before you arrived, Benji said, who's your next guest? I said, Amelia Sildell. I thought he might know you. He goes, oh yeah, I met her 2 weeks ago. It's just raving about you. So anyone listening to this that wants to inquire should do so anyway. But just going back to your point, most people aren't confident at the thing that they want to really do. And the only way you get there is by doing, right? Mm-hmm. So this consistency of doing, how did you arrive in that place? Because I think sometimes get the stage fright, something happens, they retreat, go into the shell and fuck off into the distance. You go, no, it didn't go quite as well. Fiance gives you what I call supportive
shit sandwich.
The shit sandwich. Let's call it a shit sandwich. And then you go back. The shit sandwich made you go back to the organizer and go, I want to tell my story next time. Yes, we would love that. And they're basically saying, yeah, it could have been better. But you're coming back. That, for me, there's so much in all of this that I want someone to understand, because none of us get to this place by just turning the light on. It takes time, years, constant courageous moments. And courageous moments can be just a little step.
And I think that's what the answer is. Like, there's not, I can go back and say, there's been probably 3 big moments in my life, or 4 big moments in my life that were like catalysts to change. And I call those big red button moments. And I think big red button moments are, I think throughout your life, you are served up opportunities on your lap. And if you don't take them, they continually come back onto your lap. So that might be you're in a shit relationship. And so the opportunity comes up to leave that person because you find out they cheat on you. So the big red button's presented to you. And if you don't press that big red button, you then continue to be in a shit relationship and something will happen again. And then once again, you're presented with that big red button. And until you press it, you don't change, right? So I think we have those big moments. But in order to get the confidence to press the button and blow your life up, basically, which is always a good idea in my opinion, you have to do little things. And those little things could be like my first day when I was a recruiter, I was handed a phone, given a list of 100 people to call and told to dial. And I was like, what do I say? And they're like, I don't know. Ask them if they want a job. I was like, ooh. So you make one call, they don't answer.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, please don't answer.
Second call, didn't answer. Oh my God, okay. Third call, they answer.
Yeah.
Like,
shit.
Yes, they answer. What do I say? Hi.
Yeah.
And you do just little tiny things that scare you all the time. And it might be that you smile at a stranger in a street. Maybe that's scary to you. Maybe you have a 10-second conversation with the barista in prep. Like, say, how's their day going? No one asks them that. You'd be surprised how talkative they are if you ask them how their day is going. And just doing little things that maybe are out of your normal cycle of thinking. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. The more you do it, the more tiny little cuts you make, but the more strong you become and the more resilient you become, which then means when you have that big red button moment and your husband cheats on you again, you go, fuck this.
See you later.
See you later. And then it creates this massive catalyst of change. And the more you do that, and the more you press those buttons and the more you do the tiny things, the more confidence you get to do the really big things. And the big things are the things that actually create that momentum. But confidence, as you said, doesn't come from Googling how to get confident. It comes from doing the thing you're not confident in doing, sucking at it long enough to be confident at it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's so true. And I think it blocks a lot of people from their potential as well, doesn't it? Because
everyone.
You know, if you think about,
it's the only blocker to everyone's potential.
Yeah.
Think about the people who've got the amazing business ideas, but never go out and start them because they're worried it's going to fail. Yeah. Think about all the people who could solve so many of scientific mysteries, but never had the confidence to go and ask for the funding to do it, so never achieved it. Think about all the missed love, stories that could have existed because they got away because I was too shy to ask them out. Every single thing that you want in your life is on the other side of just getting the fuck on with it.
It really is, though.
It really is. But people build up these things, to my point about TED, so much in their head.
That's why I wanted to talk about it.
It becomes catatonic. They just they freeze. They're like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But you can. And the only way to get out of freezing and analysis paralysis and like going in this cycle of either staying the same or being depressed or whatever is to just do something. Like, to my point, I wasn't great last year, but I went to the gym because it was one thing I could change. It was a tiny, tiny thing. And that has had a catastrophic impact on the rest of my life in a fantastic way.
You can see it.
Thank you.
Go back to last year, though, just before that. I don't want to fucking drag you down. I want to actually just, when you think about it, there's a lot of people at the moment that probably are having a tough time. And the waves of emotion that come with that, the heaviness that comes with it. In one of your posts recently, I'm sure you said you were thinking of just going, fuck it.
Yeah, I was going to shut the business down. It was too hard. It's like this country, man, and I'm very happy to talk about it from a political way, a political way, whatever you want to.
Come on, let's talk about it.
This country makes it so hard for business owners to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's not Labour, it's not Tory. It's been this way for 10 years. Yeah. And we've had many, many governments and many prime ministers in that time.
7 now, 6, 7.
Right? And no one has had the intelligence to zoom out and go, who employs most of the people in this country? Small business owners. People who are employing less than 500 people make up about 70% of employment in the UK. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it really fucking hard for them to survive and employ people. So what do we all have to do? We have to let people go because it's really, really hard to run a business.
Give more reasons why you shouldn't hire people.
Yeah. Or if you've got enough money, you fuck off to Dubai or Portugal or, America, wherever. Yeah. Because even though the taxes are really high in America, you're happy to pay them because the opportunity is so much bigger, right? So I think, I don't know why I was even going with that that train of thought. What was the
Well,
question?
no, because I think it is. It's about opportunity, because you were thinking of shutting the business down.
Shutting the business down. Look, it got too hard.
Quite proud of myself for remembering where I went to.
I know.
There.
Well done, ADHD. It got really hard, and it got to a point because I'm a solo founder and I don't have a co-founder. I've never taken investment, bootstrapped everything myself, and everything I've made I've reinvested. So it's always been on me to figure it out, and that's a lot of pressure. At one point, my overheads were 110 grand a month, which for one person to manage.
Is that when you moved into? Didn't you go into London somewhere?
Yeah, well, we've always been in London, but we took on an office in New Bond Street, which I was so proud of at the time, but was such an ego play. Such an ego play. Who was I? Really? Let's be honest. I look back and I'm like, who is she? But I'm still glad I did it because I got to be like, come to my office in New Bond Street. I went opposite Fendi. Yeah. I was a fag end lease. I got it a lot cheaper than I probably should have got it for, but still, it was such a waste of money. But yeah, it's just so hard to run a business, and it's also, more importantly, never been less attractive to start one.
Yeah.
You know, I look at some friends of mine who would be brilliant founders, brilliant ideas. I've got so much to give the world, and they're like, it's just like there's no point. I get paid more doing what I'm doing for someone else. And the upside of being self-employed should always be that we get paid more because that's the price you get for the risk you take.
Yeah.
You know, 90% of businesses fail in the first 2 years. Yeah. So if that's the failure rate, let there be an upside. Let there be a reason for taking that risk. Because if this country's built on shopkeepers...
Well, we're paying more out on welfare than we're collecting in income tax.
I know. Well, I read recently, and I don't know how factual this is, so you'll have to forgive me for getting it wrong if I do. No one come for me if it's wrong. That the founder of Revolut has just obviously seconded. He's gone. Yeah. He's gone to Dubai. And with him, he's taken a £2.5 billion capital gains tax bill. And in order for us to make that up, we need 450,000 new average taxpayers paying $7.5 grand a year. Where are these people coming from? Where are we getting those 500,000 additional taxpayers?
Do you know, and I think what you're doing, and, you know, by making the decision to descale is a decision a lot of founders are making.
I've got some worrying news for you and for anyone else listening to this who cares about the economy at all, which I think we all do if we're running businesses. Most of my clients are what would be classed as small business owners. So they're employing less than 1,000 people. Most are somewhere between 200 and 300 something, but almost all of them are under 1,000. Every single one of them are making cuts, and not just small cuts, like deep cuts.
Yeah, so it's got to be deep because it's the uncertainty.
Every single one.
Yeah.
So if that's like, let's say 25 employers in the UK, that's, if I'm thinking approximately for what their, you know, numbers are of people that they employ, that's approximately, I don't know, 600-700 people that are going to be out of jobs just for my clients. So when you think about that zoomed out, and these are cross industry, this is finance, this is marketing, this is tech, this is cross industry. If they're all doing that, that means everyone's going to do that.
And add AI into the mix.
Everyone's going to be doing that, which means, like, we're also in a recession right now. If you look at the numbers, we are in a recession, which means that next year is going to be even worse. So yeah, I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm a big believer that there is opportunity.
I think it's being a Debbie Downer. It's just putting a voice on it because, you know, anyone that's listening to you think, even if she's thinking it, you know, it makes them feel better in a weird kind of way.
But I also don't mind talking about it. And I think there's a lot of people who refuse to be political at all. I was joking to you earlier, I don't have a boss. I am the boss. So I can, like, where's HR? It's me. I can say what I want.
Yeah,
so the only ramifications for me.
You can go and have a little meeting with yourself about what you said today.
I can do whatever I want. So I'm comfortable in saying, because it's not conversations I'm not already having, right? Yeah. But I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I can't say that because I don't want to upset the masses. I'm like, fuck the masses. I don't care if the masses like me or not. But this is my reality.
It's a reality.
Is that it's very, very hard to run a business. And most founders are taking headcount cuts, sure, but also salary cuts for themselves to make sure that things are...
And they're paying less tax.
They're paying less tax,
less VAT being collected, less investment going back into local economies as well.
Yeah, sure.
Less young adults coming into work.
Yep.
Over 1 million not coming in. Yep. Why? Because of various reasons.
But also,
there's
where's
not
the
enough
jobs?
Opportunities.
Yeah, where's the jobs? There aren't any because there's not any new jobs being created. But yeah, we need 450,000 new taxpayers. So
I think
stick that in your pipe.
There's a big fuck off pipe as well. But the big thing for me is like, I just don't, and like many other founders like yourself, we're sitting there going, how can they just be so bad at understanding what will build a really great economy by supporting small business growth and absolutely giving people the tools and the encouragement to take the risks?
I've got a controversial opinion about this. Two things here. One, almost all politicians are career politicians, which means that most of them, maybe Bart, to be fair, Andy Burnham, he's probably the one who is slightly left field with this, not to excuse the pun, but they're all career politicians, which means they've all gone to the same kind of schools. They've all had the same kind of education, regardless of what side of the party fence they're sitting on. They've all had the same upbringings. Yep. They've all come from middle class or upper class backgrounds, and which means they can afford to be a career politician. Because I don't know if you've seen how much they get paid. It's fucking nothing.
No.
Like the PM makes like 170 grand a year.
It's crazy when
you'd have to nail me to a cross to get paid that much to do that job. Are you joking?
God, imagine that.
Like local MPs get paid like 40 grand.
I know.
So they get paid fuck all. Let's start with that.
That's exactly it.
And by the way, I'm not comparing this to doctors and nurses. I know we need to, I've got another opinion about all that. Doctors, nurses, police officers, they should all be paid more.
Yeah.
All. Like, and I don't mean a little bit, I mean significantly, but that's a conversation for another time. But these people are career politicians, which means they don't want to make a long-term impact. They want to make an impact in the time in which they're there, so that when they go and do their next gig, which is when they get big payout and they've got all the power because they've had, this career in being a politician, they can go and do that. No one's actually in the 4 years to 8 years that they're hanging around going, what's best for the country? And if you ran a business like you ran our country, you would go bankrupt or you'd be put in jail because you defrauded shareholders. That is what would happen.
That's exactly what's happening.
So my thing is, how about we pay Prime Minister fuck ton more? We pay local MPs
the best people.
We pay local MPs a fuck ton more. We pay doctors, nurses, all that kind of stuff a fuck ton more. I would pay more tax if I could see it. Can't see it. That's the problem.
I think that's the problem. Like, people don't see where their money's going.
So, and you treat it like a business. You treat, if the Prime Minister's not doing the job, shareholders vote. Sorry, we don't. He's not performing, and maybe you even base it all on performance. I don't know, but this is all wishful thinking, right? This is a
archaic system,
but it's never going to change because you're always going to have people who want power not to make change.
But I think it's putting people off of growing and scaling businesses.
Of course it is.
And what you're doing and what I'm doing is thinking alternatively to how we can achieve our goals, but also be a lot happier at the fucking same time.
And also be a lot leaner and be a bit smarter. I would much rather have a smaller team that empowered hundreds of thousands of people to start their own small teams or scale their businesses in a lean way, personal branding being one of them. I've solved the one problem that almost all businesses have, which is how do you get free leads? I've solved it. So if I can help other businesses do that, that's going to bring their costs down massively. So whether you're a 3-person team or a 1-person team or a 300-person team, it helps you.
Hugely.
So Anyway, massive segue into a totally different topic.
Oh no, but I get the feeling that's probably where we all head off in different directions. Life looks good for you at the minute.
It's getting there.
And are you just in the moment, or are you thinking further down the line?
I'm very much in the moment right now. Like, I am not making, and it's so funny. As I said, I have this vision board, and I had this massive list of things that I wanted to achieve on my whiteboard in my office at home that I always have. I've always had this list of things, and it's always been mad long, and I've achieved almost all of them every year. And I looked at my list that I'd wrote in January today, a couple of days ago, and I thought, I don't even fucking want any of this stuff. So I just rubbed it all off. And I was like, what actually do I want to do in the next 3 months or the next, we've got like less than half a year left, right?
And obviously you had the Coming On Estate Agent Showdown podcast with myself on that list.
Yeah, I drew a picture of your face.
There you go.
Number one. And I sat there and I was like, what do I actually want to achieve between now and December? Well, there's obviously a revenue target I want to hit. Because if I can hit that revenue target, I've proven to myself that actually my leaner model works. And I can scale that, because my belief is if you can get to 50K, you can get to 500K. It's just about working up, right? So I've got a monthly revenue target I want to hit. which means that I can pay myself a truckload of money, which would be great and also brilliant for the economy because I like spending money, as you've probably seen from my handbag out there and my shoes and my rings, right? So that would be great. But the second thing is I want to become the authority, not on personal branding, but on storytelling and on people learning how to not just tell stories, but to own their story and use that as a mechanism to change their life. Like that's what I feel really, really, really passionate about. And it's funny because I've always said I'm a personal branding strategist, but actually I'm not. I'm a storyteller. I just tell stories that teach people something or make a point about something that will hopefully impact other people's lives. Whether it's me talking about my gym, whether it's me talking about this bullshit economy, whether it's me talking about whatever, or descaling the business, there's always a lesson in something. And if you think about the Bible, you think about how we get taught at school, you think about how old wives' tales to like not pick your nose and eat it because you might turn into a slug or whatever it is, they're all stories.
They are stories.
And that is how we connect.
And they stay.
Yeah, they say. And it's how we connect as people. It's how we buy, whether you're,
So our industry, we're not very good at telling stories.
No, and yet your industry should be the best at telling them because I want to visualize myself in that house.
You'd be open-minded, I know, to maybe putting some kind of event on to help agents really get to grips with this. So if you like the sound of such an event, you should definitely get in touch with me because I do think even before releasing this, we would have a clambering of people. I mean, I was in Ireland doing a talk about 5-6 weeks ago. They're humble, humorous, hungry, hidden.
Mm.
And they are like the networking afterwards was the best.
Mm.
I managed to have a couple of drinks afterwards. We were all singing after. It was just brilliant.
I love Ireland.
Oh my God. And the guys over there were just incredible, but they're hidden.
Yeah.
And the biggest fear, judgment.
Yeah. And going back to my point about I said earlier, that is the thing that stops everyone reaching their potential is fear of being judged.
And let's talk about just quickly before we end, because I know we've got to wrap up shortly.
I love how we've discussed nothing about how to build your personal brand.
We haven't, have we?
No, but I'm okay with that.
You're all right with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's funny, isn't it?
But hopefully that's also a lesson in that because I really believe to build a personal brand, you should tell your stories. And I promise this will be way more memorable than if I was like, here are the 5 steps you need to follow to build your personal brand.
I think this has been great, this conversation.
It's been fun.
The funny thing is, just going on to that, like when you talk about the personal brand building for those guys and the hidden and the judgment, the judgment.
Mm.
And we've talked about it with you, your friends, all of those different things over the years. This is real, like they're extremely competent, compliant. They're skillful at what they do. But they just haven't made that step into putting themselves out there to a degree.
Mm.
Is it the putting themselves out there bit, or is it just, what is it?
Do you know what's funny? So I've worked with hundreds of really successful people, like billionaires, a handful of them, to twice exited agency owners, and I always find it remarkable that when we start working with them, we start posting content, it starts getting traction, that they're like, oh my God, people like what I have to say. They will always get a message from one of their mates.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. And it's normally within the first 30 days.
What are you doing?
Guaranteed. Who do you think you are, mate? Or you think you're an influencer now? Like, that's what happens. And then as soon as that message comes in, I always warn them about it. I'm like, this is going to happen. Doesn't matter how much I warn them about it.
It's like a checklist.
The same thing happens. They all go, oh, maybe we're posting too much. Maybe we're being too visible. Maybe we're doing. And my response to that is, if you were getting too much attention on your business through ads, would you turn your ads off?
Yeah.
And they're like, of course not. I'm like, well, why the fuck are you listening to your mate who's not even your customer?
That's a fucking nugget there.
You have one job as the founder of your business, and that is to get as much attention to what you're selling as humanly possible so that you can make money, so that you can pay your team fairly, and you can hire more people to help you do the same. That's your only job. That's it. That's it.
You talked about telling your story, right? That's inspiring. It's more of an inspirational thing as well, isn't it? Talking about why you do what you do and the challenges that you've had.
How you got there, where the idea came from, what you've sacrificed, the failures, the challenges, the fuck ups. Interestingly, most of my content that does the best is about that is the hero story arc.
Mm.
It's the challenge that you started with, what you went through to overcome it, and the thing that you want to leave people with is a lesson learned. That is what people listen to. And it's also something that makes you totally unreplicatable and totally memorable.
Yeah.
And those are the only two things that you should give a shit about as a founder trying to grow a business, because we all know it is an attention race, and the business with the most attention is the one that wins. And if you want evidence of that, go and look at Gymshark.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
When have
what
you
a
seen
story that is.
And also DDRE.
Yep.
When have you seen in the last 10 years, 20 years maybe if you include Foxtons, that a business in Europe or in globally, to be honest, in real estate has scaled that quickly, and they have done it through people.
You don't know this, so I met Daniel just as lockdown happened, or just before lockdown, in the Chiltern Firehouse where I used to hang out before it burned down.
I know.
And he'd come out of where he was under funny sort of circumstances.
Don't we all?
Yeah. And then he was talking to me about this vision at the time. And, I've met him and done a podcast with him a while back, but it's so nice to see that coming to life in another founder. And I just want to share that moment just for a second about the type of people that are good for you. They're the people that want you to do well.
Yeah.
And you are someone I see and go, fucking hell, keep going, keep doing it. You're smashing it. Daniel as well. Benji, who came in just before.
But likewise as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's something that people should take very seriously, is like, be someone who roots for other people to win.
But it's so true.
Like,
right?
I'm a big, like, if I see, even in my competitors, I see their ads coming up on my feed, I'm like, comment, save. I'm like, you get that attention because there is more than enough for everyone.
Yeah.
So whether it's your friends taking the piss out of you, whether it's, people in your space, it always makes me laugh. People go, oh, someone else has done it. I'm like, that's proof that it should be done then.
Yeah.
Like,
validated.
Yeah. It's a validated idea. Don't hide your brilliance because you're worried about some stranger or even your friend taking the piss out of you, because you're only going to stop yourself from achieving what you want to achieve, which is going to be your biggest regret when you die.
Oof. And when you hit my tender years, Amelia,
21.
Oh, you're so kind. You paid you to say that. That was the trainers, wasn't it?
And can you see the trainers? Have we seen these?
Now, my kids have ruined me over these. I didn't even wear them for a couple of weeks.
I like them.
Thank
I think
you.
they're cool.
I like them as well. I've had another pair of Golden Goose ones, and I love those, and I've worn those too much for 2 years. But just you throw me off guard now. That's a compliment. But you do. Life is so short. I mean, my brother passed away at 21, right?
Sorry.
So, but talking to Benji, his was 4 years ago. And and what are we worrying about really? What are we worrying about really?
That's the one thing that I think there was a survey done of like 17, 18,000 care homes of people in hospice and final end of life care. And they were surveyed on like, what are their biggest regrets? And the number one thing was not doing more stuff, like not going and just risking it. Because this is all of our first time here, right? It's going to be our only time as far as we can tell. Time. So you may as well just go full send.
What would you come back at?
What would I come back as? That's a great question. A shark.
Ooh.
Fucking love sharks.
Is it
like swimming around,
there's a
biting
post
shit.
about Mondays, how much sharks love a Monday. It's a fucking Monday,
It's a fucking Monday, yeah.
Bang.
Swimming around, biting shit, scaring swimmers.
Would you be in the golden oceans of Australia?
Actually, do you know what I'd go and be? I'd go and be an orca, because orcas have got mates. I couldn't be a shark. Sharks are very solitary.
Yeah.
And orcas are just as fucked up as sharks. So love it.
Love that. Well, look, you may not know about personal branding from this episode, but you've certainly heard about an orca. There you go. We've inspired our audience today. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I know
It's been so
pestered
fun.
you a little bit in the background, but if you don't ask, you don't get.
Of course, I'm very grateful. So thank you so much.
Thanks for inspiring me and many people that are following you on your journey. Get in touch with Amelia. Follow Amelia's content on Instagram, LinkedIn. You will fail to miss her and you'll fail to not like her. She's very real, as you've seen today. Nothing was off limits. Keep smashing it, enjoying life and being in the moment.
Thank you so much.
See you on the next one.